Welcome into Bucs Insider. Casey Phillips here with senior writer and editor Scott Smith, and it is schedule release day. One of our favorite days of the year. I think it should be a national holiday. That's just my thought, along with obviously the day after the Super Bowl. We should all continue to push for that one. But we are going to get the schedule later today. Make sure you come back and tune in. We are going to do a reaction show right after the schedule drops, look at some of the key matchups, see how many primetime games there are, all of that great stuff, when the bye week is. So make sure you come back for that later today. For now, man, we got some great news. Antoine Winfield Jr., holy moly, did he get paid how he should have gotten paid for his performance?
Yeah, I'm so excited for him. I never doubted this would happen. I know what a priority this was for Jason Light and Mike Greenberg and everybody, that they keep Antoine Winfield in the building. He's been the top playmaker on this defense. You just can't afford to lose that. And yes, he's the highest paid defensive back in the NFL now, just by a little bit over Jair Alexander of Green Bay. But what's interesting about that is it's the first time a safety has had that mantle, because if you do the hierarchy of positions, usually you see cornerback higher than safety. If you look at, for instance, how for the franchise tag numbers come out, cornerback's higher than safety. But Antoine kind of transcends that a little bit, because he's basically just a playmaker all over the field.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he's called a safety or a corner or whatever. He's a playmaker you can't afford to lose. And last year he had his best year yet. You saw some stats there. He totally filled up the stat line in ways that you never see, and it all added up to, according to Pro Football Focus, the best play by any safety in the NFL. So I guess this contract makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
And he's only going into his 5th season. He's very much in his prime. You can see he had the best grade there, and that's a good list of names there. Those are some of the best safeties in the league. So he had been playing great. He was great as a rookie in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl run. But last year he really, I won't say peaked, because we hope he can go even higher, but just an incredible season. Had a great time to do it, and he got paid as he should have, and believe me, everybody in the building is happy about that.
Yes, and I cannot wait to watch him be back alongside Jordan Whitehead again.
Oh yeah, good call.
That is going to be such a great pairing. They were great together once, and then now they're even both more in their peak. I just can't wait to watch the way that they're going to be able to influence each other, and that's a great room full of great guys.
And our coaches are really excited about what a great communicator Jordan Whitehead is. So that should hopefully make the whole secondary be on the same page even better. So, and free up Antoine to make even more plays.
And then now let's talk a little bit about some of the rookies, because that has been the other news outside of Antoine, is that the rookie minicamp has been going on. Gotten a chance to see these new guys in the building for the first time, out on the field a little bit, and the Bucs were able to sign a few of them. So first of all, take us through kind of how that works, of when the rookies sign, what that means, and what we have left to do.
So for a lot of these guys, this is their first time in the building since the draft, other than Graham Barton, who came in for a press conference. So this was their first opportunity to, if they could get a deal done, to actually sign it, and that's when the Buccaneers like to announce these picks. So they were able to sign over the weekend 4th round running back Bucky Irving, 6th round guard Elijah Klein, and 7th round tight end Devin Culp. And so that's 3 of the 7 done. You normally don't have a problem. Ever since the 2011 CBA that kind of structured how rookie deals are done, everybody gets a 4-year deal. They're kind of slotted. It's not hard to even get the 1st round picks done most of the time. So we probably won't really have to worry about any negative news along that front. We got the first 4 picks to sign. Last year, the only player who wasn't signed by the end of making the mandatory minicamp in June was Cody Mauk, and he got his deal done before training camp. So that's usually not much of an issue.
So I know also there's not just your draft picks, there's not just your undrafted free agents, you also have tryout players that come in for that rookie minicamp. A, you need a lot of bodies out there to run a full minicamp, but B, there's always a chance that you find some of these diamonds in the rough that end up making the team, and it looks like there were a couple guys who at least were able to stick around a little bit longer here.
I would say it always happens. We always sign at least 2 or 3 players from that tryout group. There were 26 tryout players this time around, and the 2 that got contracts for the 90-man roster are Central Arkansas cornerback Andrew Hayes and Kentucky running back Ramon Jefferson. And Jefferson, interestingly, played last season at Kentucky under Liam Cohen. He wasn't the lead back, so the numbers weren't crazy, but obviously Liam Cohen saw things that impressed him. And he has played also at Maine and Sam Houston State and had 1,000-yard rushing seasons there. So it's an interesting signing. And, you know, whenever I talk about tryout players, I always like to bring up Adam Humphries, Cam Brate. Sometimes guys don't get signed right away in that whole frenzy to sign undrafted free agents, but they get tryouts and then teams see, oh, wow, we missed this guy, he's good. And that's how their careers get started. Last year, Marquise Watts was one of those guys. And sometimes it's a veteran. Like last year, David Moore was a veteran who got a chance to try out in that thing, and he ended up on our practice squad, and then at the end of the year kind of had an important role. So the tryouts are to flesh out the minicamp, as you said, but you usually find a couple players there, and sometimes they stick.
And then as you got a chance to watch Rookie Minicamp, now we know this isn't full pads, 11 on 11, 2-minute drill. This isn't the most informative in terms of full football going on, but it is our first chance to see a lot of these rookies. So did you have any initial impressions after watching them?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. They did do a little bit of 11 on 11, but there's no contact.
Yeah.
And they only did a little bit of it. It was a lot of individual drills. Then they did a little bit 11-11, and then they went back to individual drills because what did these guys learn of the playbook in a couple days? They're trying.
They're trying.
They're trying to absorb it.
I do not envy that part.
50-something guys all in their first couple days of looking at the playbook. There's not a whole lot you can do. But there was some interesting things that you can see. For instance, Devin Culp really looked like that speed we've heard about is real when he's caught balls in the open field. He had a couple plays. Again, there's no real defense, right? They can't hit or anything, but he looked very fast as advertised. Tyke Smith had an interception, and Todd Bowles said afterwards that this guy was a playmaker in college, and he thinks he can be a playmaker on the NFL level, which obviously I said a couple days ago there. Graham Barton and Elijah Klein got to take a bunch of snaps to get next to each other on the offensive line. I think they're going to be fast buddies as they come up. And then we also got to talk to Kalen DeLoach, who was one of those undrafted players that the Buccaneers signed out of Florida State. Undersized linebacker out of Florida State with tons of production. Sound familiar? Don't want to saddle any linebacker coming in the league with Derek Brooks in comparisons, but the point is he thinks, like Brooks, that his size does not define him. He says he's strong, he's very good at getting off blocks, and if he can prove that, then he can stick in the NFL. And I think one thing that will really help him a lot is he was an ace special teamer for Florida State, and that's how he's going to have to make this team first and get his playing time. And he said he wants to play every special teams unit that they'll give him.
I love guys that have a chip on their shoulder, particularly because of their size. That Antoine Winfield has talked about that. Baker Mayfield has talked about that. I feel like there's something to that where it is such a motivating factor of where someone is telling you something that you can't control is going to keep you from doing it, that all these guys are just love being able to be like, watch me.
Yeah, Jordan Whitehead isn't the biggest guy in the world either, but I think maybe that motivated him to become such a hard-hitting tackler.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. So again, we want to remind everyone we will have a schedule release show later on today once we have that in our hot little hands to be able to talk about primetime games, when is the bye week, when are the division games, who are we playing week 1, all of that stuff. We're going to be able to tell you all of that once the schedule releases later tonight, so make sure you come back here for that. And I also wanted to close with this. I just thought this was really cool. You know, the Buccaneers love supporting girls flag football. They are just some of the leaders in the entire football world at doing this. They broke the record for the highest attended girls flag football state championship finals by hosting it here. Just incredible stuff, and congratulations to Robinson High School. They're just so dominant. I mean, they're just
awesome.
They got a dynasty going over there. So love that the Bucs support that. Really cool to break that attendance record.
To tease our schedule show, let me you make a prediction here. How many primetime games will the Buccaneers get this year? Maximum of 5.
Maximum of 5. I think either 3 or 4. They got to get more than the 2 they had last year.
Well, that's what I wanted to show.
Disrespect. Disrespect.
If you look at the number of primetime games the Buccaneers have had, you can see a pretty clear pattern here. It's usually one, couple times maybe a little more than one.
What's happening in those 5 years?
What happened in 2020? Who arrived in 2020?
Yeah.
So then 4, 5, and 5 in the Brady years, and then Brady retires and drops all the way to 2.
Rude.
Because nobody thought the Baker Mayfield Bucs were going anywhere.
They proved him wrong, so I would hope the schedule
You think
makers,
it's going to rebound?
I think it is. I think they're
Okay.
going to learn from last year and say, you know what, these Bucs need to be on primetime a little bit more.
Gotcha.
And, you know, they've got that first place schedule, so it means they're going to have some matchups that are
Detroit.
in Baltimore and
Baltimore,
49ers, Kansas City. Like, you got a lot of teams that they love to put on
I really
primetime.
don't like that.
Cowboys, they love to put
the
on
Cowboys,
primetime.
yeah.
So, yes, that's going to be very interesting
And
to
then
see.
we also can try to guess who the first game will be. We can eliminate these 5 because their week 1 games have already been announced. So we're not going to play the 49ers, Chiefs, Cowboys, Eagles, or Ravens in week 1. My prediction was Denver. Sean Payton.
My prediction was going to be Carolina just because I think the NFL loves doing those storylines of because Dave Canales left and all that. Like, I feel like they love showing those storylines.
Cool.
So Carolina.
All right, we'll see what happens.
All right, well, make sure you tune in for that. We'll see you later with our schedule release show. Have a great week.